Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva, Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat, Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Okay, so this video I'm gonna try to do it in English for all the people who don't speak Telugu or Hindi, because other videos would be I'm making videos in Telugu and Hindi and English so that people can understand in their own mother tongue. There are a lot of people who don't speak Telugu and Hindi, and if at all they speak English, I'm doing it in English because I don't speak the other languages. Okay, so 11th grade NCERT mathematics. This is how I'm going to start with your 11th grade book, and then I'm going to go to the 12th grade book. And for every chapter that I take, I am going to first cover what is there in NCERT mathematics, and then I am going to teach you what is there in the mains, like extra stuff that are there in mains and advanced for every chapter. That's how it's going to be. I hope after listening to what I'm teaching, you guys will be able to solve the questions. Okay, so I want to keep this video very exam oriented. I don't really want to talk about how sets, the first chapter is sets, by the way. I don't really want to go into how sets can be used in the real world and stuff like that, because that doesn't concern people who want to give the exam, or to say it the other way around, I don't really think a lot of people who want to give these exams actually want to do math. I think they probably like physics. Very few people actually like math. No one really likes chemistry. Or that's how I have met people. A lot of people just like physics. They like cars and stuff like that. And then a lot of people don't even like engineering. They just do it because they have to do it. I don't want to go and talk about the beauty of sets and stuff like that, how they're used in the real world and everything, when it's just going to eat up time for your exam. This is a very exam-oriented class. It's not a class on set theory. It's just sets that you need for your exam. I want to keep it as simple as possible, as direct as possible, so it helps you. But when I have to talk about other things, I will talk about it so that you understand what sets are. Starting from that, first of all, even using the word set wouldn't really make any sense, because the way that I've seen the word set being used is, please set the table for lunch. That's how I saw people use the word set. I haven't really heard people say stuff like, give me a set of 5 grapes or 12 clothes. I haven't heard people use it that way. I heard a pair of shoes, but not a set of 2 shoes. So there's obviously a language problem. People don't use the word set in the way we're going to learn about it. Here, set is basically a bunch of things. I know. Why on earth should we study about a bunch of things? That's Okay, I guess I have to talk about that a little bit. See, you don't have to. That's the answer. You don't really have to study about a bunch of things. You don't have to study physics or math or chemistry. You don't even have to be an engineer. You can literally be any other thing but an engineer. But let's talk about another perspective. You want to know why the sun is yellow. It is yellow sometimes, you know. If you ever wondered why the moon is white, or probably why the temperature in your room is 16 degrees, or okay, I guess that's too cold. I don't know, something. It's okay, fine, 16 degrees. If you want to know about these things, it turns out everything ends up into being a discussion of a bunch of things. So that's what happened. There were a couple of people who were wondering, walking on a road on a good Sunday morning. There was a guy who looked up and he's asked himself, why are the clouds white in color? Why is the sky blue? Why is the sun yellow? He kept questioning every single thing in front of him. Why is that lady wearing a red dress? Why is the dress red in color? Why can't I see everything? What's happening? So yes, he was asking a lot of questions, more than required and necessary. And when a person asks questions which are more than necessary, you basically call them a physicist. Yes, they ask a lot of questions which are not really necessary to live life. No, you can get a job, make money without wondering why the color of my dress is blue. I am wearing a blue dress right now, actually. And life goes on without wondering why the color of the dress is blue. It's an absolutely unnecessary question if you think about it in a social perspective. But there are people who like doing that, you know. I am one of them, actually. So I get that. Everything seems so curious. Everything seems so weird and inspiring and different, and sometimes you just want to be a part of that by wondering about it. On that account of the temperature being on the temperature of the room being 16, my room right now is actually very cold. Oh wow, it is 16 degrees. I'm gonna switch off the AC. Okay. Oh, the other AC as well. Give me 2 minutes, I'm sorry. Okay, back to class. So, yeah, there are people who keep thinking about stuff like that. There are. And you call them physicists, so you can also be one of those guys or girls. That's up to you. So, where does the bunch of things come into play? Temperature is a bunch of molecules. I know that doesn't make sense. I just said something which doesn't make sense, but I'll make sense. Everything will make sense in the future. It will, because I will teach about it. I'm actually going to talk about what temperature and all these things are. I also want to make videos on physics, so it'll all make sense. Just stick with me, though. Everything you see turns out to be a bunch of things. Okay, how do you know that? You only know that when you zoom in. You know, if you take your camera and you take a photo and you're zooming in, it's like from HD quality. If you zoom in, the quality decreases. Well, happens on my phone, even though I have an iPhone. If I zoom, it's not as clear as it would be if I'm just taking like a normal photo without zooming in. What I'm trying to say is, the more you zoom in, the more, let us say you zoom into a picture, you see the pixels, right? I hope you guys know what pixels are. It's basically what creates the image. Let's say you're zooming in. Then you see pixels. A photo is always like this. It's like, this is actually how photos are. And other colors occupy other boxes. And you see a photo, so probably if we just zoom out and you see this from far away, this is basically how photos are made. I'm trying to say that photos are not continuous, but they come in pixels, and I'm sure everybody actually knows that. Right. So just the way, so if you again look at this, how many pixels do we have here? Again, each box and all by itself, if you look at each box over here, you have a lot of other boxes over here. And again, is this photo not a bunch of pixels? That's one thing. So if you go and you want to see other things, like temperature, it's going to be a bunch of molecules. Now, what are molecules? Molecules is basically what happened when we zoomed in into the object in front of us. If you have a water bottle, very bad water bottle with water, and you zoomed into this, you basically see something, and that something, after zooming in, you have to zoom in probably 1 billion times. And after zooming in 1 billion times, okay, what I mean by billion times, so let me say what I mean. I mean like 10 times, 100 times, I mean like 10 power 9 times. That's what I mean, your magnification. So then you see something, and that something is actually what we call molecules and atoms. It's not that you see atoms and molecules, you see something, and that something is called this. Do you actually see it with your own eyes, or do you see it in a different way? That's a different story. We'll also come to that. That's a lot of things in one place. It wouldn't make sense if I just talk about all of it in one go. But what I am telling you is that it's a bunch of things. Always a bunch of things. The world is always a bunch of things. Life is a bunch of problems. The world's a bunch of things. So we have a department of mathematics for it, which deals with a bunch of things. Yeah, literally. If life is a bunch of problems, math guys came up with an idea to deal with those problems, and they're like, set theory. I'll deal with a bunch of things. Well, that's obviously not the direct inspiration, but hey, maybe, who knows? So we're going to be dealing, as I said multiple times, a bunch of things. What are these bunch of things? What will those bunch of things do? You can have a bunch of grapes, you can have a bunch of tables, a bunch of anything. But whether you find meaning in having these bunch of things, whether you don't find meaning in having these bunch of things, you're gonna have to start dealing with a bunch of things. So that's rule number 1 for doing this chapter. Whether you want to deal with dozens of apples or not, you're gonna have to deal with them every day. So set your mind up for that. Today apples, tomorrow molecules, day after tomorrow packets of a wave, or something like that. Okay, not packets of a wave, I mean like energy of a wave, or just waves themselves, a bunch of waves. Sorry, not packets of a wave, I mean waves, a bunch of waves. So bunch of things everywhere. Okay. So I want you guys to think about it. I don't want to talk about this more than what I have right now. A bunch of things. I also want you guys to give examples of a bunch of things. Like, I want you to sit down, and I have a couple of questions for you people, okay? What on earth can you do with a bunch of things, okay? So you can count them. Obviously, I'm giving a hint. Have apples. Assume it's an apple. And you can count all the apples. That's one thing you can do. Okay, great. You can count them. What's the second thing you can do with a bunch of things? You can put them in a box. You can keep them outside, or you can put them in a box. But even if they're outside, they're in a big room, if not in a small box. So you can see where they are placed. See where they are placed. What is the third thing you can do? I mean, you can exchange. You can be like, I'll give you an apple, give me a banana. Sorry, I suck at drawing. I'm so sorry. I wish I knew how to draw better. I'm learning how to draw these days, but I'm still in the beginner stage. This is not even beginner. This is like infant stage, but hey, bear with me. You can say, oh, give me a banana, I'll give you an apple. You can exchange. Right? You can obviously, if you can get, so one is exchanging, then the number, so then the number of things don't change because you're exchanging them. Or you can have an idea of, okay, you can give away. You can add to your bunch of things. You can see what's in common. For example, you have 2 brown grapes and 3 green grapes. And then your sibling has... Oh wow, they all look so angry. Okay. Oh wow, that looks scary. Okay, that guy looks terrified. Sorry. And he has 1 brown grape. Let's say my brother has like a brown grape. And then 2 green grapes. Then you can say, okay, we both at least have 1 brown grape. Then you guys can be like, at least we have a brown grape and a green grape in common. Like, at least both of us have 1 brown grape and 1 green grape in common. So yeah, think about it. I want you to keep thinking about it. Or your sister, let's say my sister comes up. Wow, why does she... Wait a minute. I'll draw my sister's face a bit better. Yeah, okay. That's better. So then she might say, no, she's my younger sister, so she's the youngest in all 3 of us. So she might say that she might actually ask me and my bro to give all the grapes away to her, so that's very possible. That being said, so let's give all the grapes away to her, because she's the youngest. Okay, let's give the grapes away. Yeah, my sister took all the grapes. Okay, so you can give away everything. So you can add everything together in one place. You can add everything in one place and give away. Okay, but you can also do one thing. What is it that my brother has that I don't have? My brother has an extra of 1 brown grape and 2 green grapes, so you can count them extras. You can count extra stuff. Right? So, what else can you do? What else can you do? You can have nothing. Okay. So, let me put it this way. Okay, that's better. So, yeah, so what can you do? Think about them. Think about these bunch of things and what you can keep doing with them. Make a list of these bunch of things and what you can do with them, and that's all of set theory. Most of it. The naive set theory, yes. So naive, no, we're just counting grapes. Yes, cute. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do cute set theory. We're going to count stuff and we're going to see what we can do with them. This is a class exercise. I'm not kidding. Don't think it's a joke, okay, guys? Nothing about this is very funny, very exam oriented because okay, so just to make you guys feel it's all exam oriented, I'll actually tell you this thing, you see what's in common? It's going to be called an intersection in sets, and it's in set theory, and it's used with this symbol. So I am teaching you guys mathematics, okay? I'm not doing fooling around, all right? Like, take it seriously. It's a group homework, okay? Like, go home, talk to your siblings. Talking to friends, I don't know. You guys might just fool around. Fine, talk to friends, talk to siblings. See, I would still say just go home quickly, talk to your siblings, tell them to get a bunch of grapes from the kitchen, whatever. Just forcibly give them a couple of grapes, even if they don't want to do this right now. And see what you can do with it. What are the operations? Let's introduce some nice terms. An operation, like Mission Impossible, it's an operation. What are the things you can do? The operations that can be done on a bunch of things. I gave you a lot of ideas. I just want you to have more ideas. And counting them. Yeah, I want to know if you can count things. I know it sounds ridiculous when I say that can you count things, because it sounds as if you guys are blind or deaf or dumb or crazy that you cannot count things. Actually, even blind people can count things. Deaf people also can count things. What am I saying? People can always count things. But yeah, I want you to think about it. I'm not really saying something stupid. What is being able to count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, exactly. So I'm trying to ask you guys if you can count everything you know, and is there something you cannot count? I want you to think. To be able to count, you need to start from 1. So yeah, so this is the first one, that's the second one, that's the third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. Yes, I also want you to see the difference. Okay, is there a difference between the second one and 2 objects? So is there a difference between the second grape and 2 grapes? I want you to think about that. And the reason I say this is if you have a list of things, you can be like, oh yeah, first thing, second thing, third thing, fourth thing. But to be able to go to saying that's the fourth thing, you should always first identify the first thing. What if you cannot tell what's the first thing? Can there ever exist a situation where you cannot count, is all I'm trying to ask. Do that. Think about it, because that's very important. All of the things which are going to come about next are a lot to do with counting. So think about this. Do this exercise very seriously. Don't just go home and do nothing and show up tomorrow for the next video. Don't do that, please. Don't just skip to the next video. Like, please. I just don't do it. Think about it. If you don't think about it, what's the point? Because you need to learn how to think. I am learning how to think. I am studying, I'm learning how to think, I'm doing this, I'm making a video, I'm thinking. But I'm not giving the exam. You're the one giving the exam. You have to think. You have to do this. Just listening to me is not gonna cut it. Writing notes is not gonna cut it. Solving questions is not gonna cut it unless you start thinking like a guy who counts a bunch of things. Because the questions are gonna be given for guys who count a bunch of things. They're not gonna be given for people who solve questions on set theory. They're very different things. Solving questions on set theory versus being a person who plays or counts a bunch of things. This is who you need to be if you want to go to IT. Rather, if you do this, it's easier to go there. For this chapter, if you want to solve questions easily, you gotta do this. It's not this. No, it's not solving questions. It's counting a bunch of things. Thinking like a guy who counts a bunch of things. You gotta think like that guy. Thinking like a person who counts a bunch of things. And that's it for today. If you can make a list of things that can be done with a bunch of things, the next video I'll just give names to all those things and we can start doing the math, let's say. Yeah. But we also have to, we're so casually using words like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, what the hell does it even mean to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? So I have other kind of things I'll talk about tomorrow. Like, okay, think about this. I want to say something right now. You have a floor. Have another floor. And you're climbing stairs. Sorry, floor here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. But after this, I don't really have a step, right? I don't. So why is it that numbers have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? 6. Why is 6 there? I literally have a house which only has like 10 steps, by the way. I'm living in an apartment which has 10 steps. It's like it's a duplex apartment. It has 2 floors and they're connected by 10 steps. Now, I will draw that, literally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I should have drawn them smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is this is this 4. Sorry. Okay, this is the ground floor, this is the first. Wait. Yeah. First step, second step, third step, fourth step, fifth step, sixth step, seventh step, eighth step, ninth step, and yeah, the 10th step. And this is my floor on top. So my point is, for someone who's been living in this Chennai apartment, yes, I live in Chennai. For someone who's been living in this apartment for a couple of years now, I only have seen 10 steps. Okay, maybe I have seen like 200 steps in the apartment building itself in case of a fire emergency. They don't use to live, they use like 200 steps. So for someone who does that, why would I believe 201 as a step can be there? So why would I think of writing 1, 2, 3, 4, and just so on? Why would I think that? I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and that's it, and 10, and 10, and 10, because that's where you are. You're at the 10th step. No matter how much you go, you're 10 meters, let's say, or 10 feet above the ground. So for someone who has never seen being 11 feet above the ground for the last 5 years or whatever of living in my apartment, why will I believe you? If you're just going to write stuff like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever, why would I believe? Why should I believe you? I climb 10 steps every day. I do it every day. From the hall to my bedroom, I do it every day. Why should I believe you that 11th step exists? Why, if you tell me that numbers will be in the fashion of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I will question you. I will ask you, show me a place which actually has 11 steps. You want to write the number 11 beside 10, you got to make sense of that number. Like, what is it? Where is it? I don't have it. Okay, so you probably take me to that big staircase that is there for emergency purposes in the apartment. Okay, then I'll say one more thing. So for every step I take, let's say like I take a step of 1 feet. Okay, 1 feet step. And here, let's say this is like 1 feet. 1 feet. And now I'm going to count the height I am from the ground. So even the apartment steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you basically walk on the 5. So you basically take two more steps, like first step, second step, third step, fourth step, fifth step, sixth step, seventh and eighth step. Then you have stairs again. So why can I not write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, and then write 6 and 7 and stuff like that? Why can I not do that? I mean, I am 1 feet, so let's say it's also like 1 feet height over here. So I'm 0 feet now, I'm 1 feet above, okay, then I'm 2 feet above, then I'm 3 feet above, 4 feet above, 5 feet above, 5 feet above, 5 feet above, then again 5 feet above, then I'm 6 feet above, 7 feet, and 8 feet above. Why can I not write this? Why can I not say that after 5, only 5 comes for 3 more times? Why do you tell me that 6 comes after 5? Why are you telling me stuff like this when in real life, I am living a life like this? So there is a problem. You cannot just take things for granted. So, yes, you cannot. You can't. And think about a guy who actually climbs back down. Think about a guy who climbs back down. His life is going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You cannot even convince that guy that after 5, 6 is going to come, because he doesn't even take the next step. That bro comes down. He's like, no, I ain't climbing that high, man. I ain't doing that kind of stuff. I want to go down. How do you tell that man that after 5, 6 is going to come? So who are you to tell people that after 5, 6 is going to come when in real life something else is happening to everybody? That everybody is counting different things. Everybody is saying different things. And everybody is having a different life, different counting. Everyone's counting everything differently. And they have a different number system, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's how somebody's living their life. I live a life where I don't have 11 steps. 11 doesn't exist for me. In my house, it doesn't. Especially when I'm climbing stairs. So, I want you guys to think about it. It doesn't make sense just to say stuff like that, because these are the things we're going to keep questioning right now. You know, you just can't say whatever you want to say. On that account, is there a place when you can just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on forever? Because we have said that. That actually is what we learn when we're kids. Is there a place in real life which looks like that? That's what I want you to think about. And of course there is. But I'm not going to tell you right now. I want you to think about it. I want you to think a lot about it. And the other point I want to make clear is, I also want you to think about different scenarios. So I told you, yes, I want you to think about number system. So that's the other exercise homework you guys might have. Number system. Call it whatever you want to call it. Number system is the only thing I know how to call it. Now, some people will now Google number system, and that guy might say something else. Let me just Google number system and what Google has to say about the two words number system. Yeah, number system for these guys look like decimal, binary, octal. Yeah, okay, fine. Maybe not the word number system. I knew it, not this. I shouldn't call it number system because they already gave some other meaning for number system. Okay, I'm just trying to say how numbers look like. Okay, that works. So I give you a scenario of the staircase at my house. So I want you to go around. I want you to go to your home. I want everybody to go home, tag your sibling with you. And the reason I say your sibling, if you have a younger sibling, elder sibling, anybody, okay, just tag them with you, because the one thing is, if you're thinking about something and you indulge them to think, everybody learns these things together. I mean, it's beneficial that way. And you guys can think a lot about it together, and it's fun to do things with siblings. That's it. There's no other reason. And especially if it's a younger sibling, they will have an opportunity to learn all these things you're doing. I mean, there's nothing very magical or complicated about the questions I'm trying to give you. You can literally do these things with a 5-year-old, really. Like, take a kindergarten guy with you and be like, bro, how many stairs do you think there are? And just write them down and walk on those stairs in multiple ways. Like, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's where I'm living. And I also told you about a guy who climbs and then climbs down. This is one way. So I want you to think about the number of the different kinds of arrangement. It's not even arrangement. The different kinds of numbers. How different kinds of how numbers look like. Okay, number system was the best word to use at this point in time. The different kinds of number systems you can have. Okay, that's what I want you guys to see. Go climb stairs, literally walk in society, and see how different people walk differently. When you come back to class, are you watching this video like all by yourself? Or if you're watching it with a bunch of people, then compare your answers to each other. But if you're just watching all by yourself, then yes, go home, take your sibling with you, just ask them to count, walk in a different fashion, and then see how it works. One guy can go up and go down, so after 5, 4 comes, after 4, 3 comes. So it's funny, here after 4, 5 comes, here after 4, 3 comes. So what comes after 4 is ambiguous. It's based on where 4 is. If 4 is here, then 5 comes, but if 4 is here, then 3 comes. So think about all these things and tell me how, all the different things that can be done. So think about a guy climbing a cliff and then falling off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're back to 0, and then it's just 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. If you look at the height. But if you're looking at the steps taken by this guy, it's 1. If you're looking at the steps taken, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, so on. But if you're looking at the height, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So I want you to write a bunch of things like this. Walk around, write them, and then think about it. Why does 6 have to literally come after 5? Why should 7 come after 6? It doesn't have to. It doesn't really have to. So walk around and write all kinds of things possible, like all kinds of sequences like this possible. And then tomorrow, and then also think about it, in what kind of a situation does 6 come after 5, 7 come after 6, 8 come after 7, and stuff like that. And then we'll talk about all that stuff in the next video. Right now, this is what you guys have to do. And for sets, yes, pause this here if you have to. You have to write what can you do with sets. You're going to have to write them down. That is it for today's class. When you do all of this, we'll discuss the next things in the next class.